Hello, it's July 2nd and I came here to see that the garden has actually super taken off. It's looking really beautiful this morning. I'm so excited. The combination of rain and warm weather and sunshine has made all of my plants take off, and I'm just here to kind of get some of them under control and do something about the squash. I have some wire mesh that I'm going to put up to support it, and yeah, I'm super excited to see how everything is doing. All right, this is what I arrived to this morning, and as you can see behind my garden, everyone else's garden's taking off too. That is my wire kind of fencing mesh that I'm going to put up in just a moment to support the squash. But in the meantime, we have like the little berry corner. I actually have some lettuce coming up. And then these are some perennials I had started from seed. I have the feverfew, woad is that one. This is some thyme, hyssop. That's the St. John's wort, which I need to harvest today. I have a couple of flowers coming up down there. This is my meadow sweet, which is not flowering, I don't think, so it probably needs another year. And then oh wow, I have my vervain here, which is in flower. That's the European vervain. Sage is looking really good. I have some holy basil plants coming up. I wasn't sure if they'd come up. They are mixed in with a few weeds. My foxglove is coming up. I actually bought this and put this plant in last week, and it's still in flower. I wasn't sure if it would still be in flower this week. It looks like it needs water though, so I will water it. I have some strawberries, but they ended up being very small, and as you can see, kind of towards the ground, and a bunch of creatures, I believe, have eaten them. I have raspberries here that are coming. I hope someday they look like my neighbors. You can see hers here, look really nice. So I have my tomato corner over here. Most of my tomato plants are not doing as well as they did last year. They're also not doing as well as the ones on my balcony. I think it's because they're not getting a ton of sunlight here. It's only sunny in the afternoon, and I can see them kind of like reaching towards the light. The lack of sunlight isn't a huge concern for most of my garden because it lets me grow some things I wouldn't otherwise, but I don't know. I'll have to see how they do. That one's getting some sun. There we go. I have this kale plant that I believe I dropped in when I first got the space, and it is looking good. I'm going to add some more. Peas are doing well. I think they need to be watered, but I can definitely harvest some of those. They look really nice. I have another kale plant here that, yeah, I'm going to plant some more kale seeds. Tomato on this side though, this one seems happy enough. So maybe this corner gets more light. I'm not sure. I have not been here in the late afternoon, actually. That's why I'm not completely sure how much light everything gets. But the way that everything's reaching this way kind of tells me they need more light than what they're getting. The sunflower is doing the same thing. It's growing, but it's kind of stretching this way. My cilantro has already bolted, so that's a variety I grow in the Aero garden and in container gardens, and it looks like it bolts super fast in the ground. So I was excited to see these. I had this in my garden last year and I transplanted it over here. It is a type of black-eyed Susan, and it is looking really full and pretty this year. This is an echinacea that I also transplanted. These look like they got rained on, but I have quite a few more blooms coming, as you can see. This is a bit early for this to be blooming, so quite nice. Another sunflower kind of reaching. You can see how it's leaning a little bit. Calendula, I started from seed. The lavender is doing well. Usually this likes more sun, so it doesn't seem to be too bad off here. I have my market board cucumbers Something just fell from the tree right there. More cucumbers, which are struggling, I would say. I think they need more sun. Back here I have daylily right there, which looks like it's going to blossom. My blueberries, which are turning blue. That's really fun. I see some peeking right there. I'll have to try them. I planted this eggplant and it's not doing well. I think lack of sunlight. So you can see it gets dappled sunlight here. But the broccoli I tried this year, as you can tell, is doing really well. You know, mixed blessing. I don't mind the shade. Now over here, I'm surprised this is doing well. This must get enough light. This is a tomatillo, which is a plant I got for free. And it's doing amazingly. Look at those beautiful blossoms. Wow. What do I have in here? I'm not sure what I have in here. Possibly just weeds. This, however, is a dahlia. I'm excited for that one. Back there is a foxglove that didn't blossom this year. I've got some zinnias, my gooseberry, which I've shown you. So over here, I'm here today to wrangle this little corner before these squash get too big. I have a lot of squash, as you can tell. And I need to give them some support. Now this, I believe, is a summer squash. I don't think this necessarily needs a lot of support. But these down here, some of these are butternut and some are delicata, and then some are the Montreal melon way in the back there. And they will all need support because they're going to be getting huge this month. This is like my last chance to find a way to support them. I do still have zinnias, but they're still quite small. Zinnias tend to take off later in the summer, so I'm not too worried. Same thing like here, this is a Cosmo plant. Those also tend to take off later in the summer. Oh, I forgot to show you, this is my garlic, which I should be able to harvest later in July. Last week I cut off the scape, so that's why you can see it's cut right there, because it was curling around. This one still has one though. Yeah, I'm really happy. Oh look, this I believe is hyssop. This is a plant I had last year. It didn't blossom, and look at that. It's blossoming. Pretty little purple flowers. One concern I have is that little rose plant I planted this year doesn't seem to be doing so well. Not sure. It may also be because it doesn't have enough light, but I don't know. The fact that the sage is doing well and the thyme over there is doing well tells me it should have enough light. It may have just had a hard time being transplanted. This is another herb I planted. It had a hard time being transplanted, but it seems to be doing well now. This is arnica, mountain arnica, which is a European medicinal. Wow. Yeah, I'm very pleased with how everything looks. This I put in last week. This is a Malabar spinach plant. I've heard a lot of people say how much they love it, so I thought I would try it in my little lettuce corner. Basil's looking nice. So again, I don't know that the basil would have taken off this well, especially since we've had a hard year to grow basil, if it hadn't gotten enough light. So I think things will be okay here. This is why I'm talking about the light issue. We have a row of trees here that overhang my garden space. And then, like you can see in this garden, this woman's garden has part shade, part sun, and then the rest is very sunny. So the word on the street, the word in the garden, I should say, is that no one wanted this garden plot because of all of the shade. But I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's mid-July and also midway through the growing season. Forgive the noise, it is a very noisy Thursday night in July. This is what it sounds like. Okay, We had a very, very rainy week, so I just laid down some fresh cedar mulch. This is just like a $3 bag of cedar mulch from the hardware store. Look at this, my tomato corner. I have a lot of tomatoes coming along. I can identify a few of them. This is, I believe, a type of blueberry tomato, it's called. These are probably a sun gold. So many tomatoes. I'm very happy about that. Peas, some of them are kind of coming to the end of their harvest because the leaves are turning yellow. But right after I do this video, I need to pick all of those. Basil. Yeah, the basil's looking pretty good. I have some creature that digs around in here. I don't know why or what it is. I think it's probably a groundhog. Okay, over here. Romaine lettuce seems to be the only lettuce that came up, but that's fine. So I have feverfew and chamomile. Those I planted from seed not that long ago. They're coming up. This is woad, doing well. Thyme. My strawberries are a little past their season and some creature ate all of the ripe ones. That's a clump of mint. I believe is agastache or anise hyssop. I'm not sure which one. They may be the same thing. St. John's wort still going strong. Oh, over here I still have this kale and I have a little dill along the path. This is my Spirea alba, which is like an American version of meadowsweet. It's going to flower. I said I didn't think it was flowering this year, and it has a few flowers on it this week, or it's a few flower buds. And then over here, hyssop is doing really well still, as you can see. The vervain sort of finished flowering. I think it'll flower again if I remember. And a tiny holy basil. This did better for me last year. I have a lot at home though on my balcony. Cucumbers coming along. These also did better last year, and I have some that are doing better at home. I have a lot of flowers, so I think they'll take off in the next week or so, because I believe last year I remember cucumbers taking off like right around mid-July. And these are my little calendula plants. They're doing nice. And then some that I started from seed are doing actually even better. They really shot up in the last week or so, and those will blossom. That one's not in blossom now. And then, so these I planted from seed. These are all calendula. This one I planted from seed. It had a few spent blossoms. My broccoli is looking great. I now need to research how I know like when to harvest it. I think it's a fall harvest. So this I noticed tonight is doing really well. This is the tomatillo that I planted not that long ago, and it has gotten very tall. It seems to grow really quickly, and that's kind of exciting. I'm happy about that. Behind it, I have my, drawing a blank. I've said it in another video. Anyway, they're doing really well, and they actually have blossoms, which is surprising because I think of them as more of an August-September flower. I have some taller zinnias back there. I have zinnias throughout the garden, but not all of them are as tall as those in that corner. So this is how my squash and melon are doing. They're doing okay, but I see people in other gardens, like here, let me just show you. Right over there in that corner, in the center of the frame, that's also a squash. So mine's not doing as well. I mean, maybe it is. It's just taking longer. So we'll see how it does. Ooh, this one kind of looks like it's ready to flower, which would be a little bit on the early side. Cilantro has gone to seed. So over here, beautiful flowers. Echinacea here. Sunflower that'll start blossoming this month. I'm so excited for that. That'll be really pretty. My Buddleia or butterfly bush is beautiful. So glad I got that. It adds such a beautiful color. This cherry tomato is loaded with cherry tomatoes. I'm looking forward to getting those. I have a Cherokee purple in here too. As you can see right there, it's coming along. And then other plants like this one just have flowers still. I'm not sure what variety that is. This is another nice sunflower I'm looking forward to. This is a white echinacea that I started this year. I have some cosmos, but I think they'll start to grow taller later because they're kind of, I associate them with a fall flower. Okay, it's the end of July. It's the last weekend of July, and I just came here after a week, after a very rainy week, and my garden is transformed. It's crazy. I have all kinds of stuff going on here, so let me show you. We just had a bunch of storms this afternoon, and we're going to have more tonight. The sky is kind of threatening. Here's my tomato corner, and I have tomatoes. I'm not sure what this kind is. I believe it may be a sunrise bumblebee tomato, which is one of my favorites. If it is, it's not quite ripe. I should be back in a few days, so I'll get it then. Over here, I have a ton of tomatoes, not ripe yet. But these, I believe, are a Bosque blueberry. They're called from Wild Boar Farms. I got it from Baker Creek. Over here, okay, it's still too early to tell, but a lot of these tomatoes do have, or the tomato plants have branches of tomatoes coming along, which is good because if you recall, in a previous video, I talked about the fact that this area does get a lot of shade, so I wasn't sure. This, I believe, is the Dr. Witchy. Okay. The peas are still producing. I think they got too hot though, you can see. Oh no, here's a little pea coming along. What else do we have in here? Okay, so these tomatoes are doing all right. Oh, this is another Dr. Witchy. That's a big one. That's a good one. There we go. Look at that. Basil. Really nice basil. And I have a zinnia actually coming. So some of my flowers look like they have been broken off, which is strange. I didn't have animal issues on the other side of the garden, which is more isolated than this last year. So we'll see. It's got more coming along. Okay, here's some more. These are some more blue tomatoes. Okay, this is one of the bigger transformations in 1 week only, because I was last here, last filmed 1 week ago tonight. They were that size. They were that size last week. Now this one is even bigger here on the end. This I need to pick for sure. So Market Moor grows so fast and they grow so well where I live. And they're pretty good tasting. They're a great salad cucumber. So I'm excited, and my cucumber trellis worked out pretty well. This guy is cooperating more than this one. Just decided to grow that way for whatever reason. But okay, so many flowers. Calendulas. I'm going to deadhead those. More calendulas. My buddleia stopped blossoming. I believe it will start again. It has some more coming, so I hope it will. I have my lovely echinacea, still looking great. These black-eyed Susans is what I call them, looking great. I had a sunflower. This got eaten by some creature, which I am guessing this would be a groundhog would do this. It looks like the animal just knocked it over, pushed it over, and then ate the whole, look at that, ate the whole flower. I don't know when that happened because it was not flowering a week ago. And yeah, it could have, and I hate to say it, but they have also trapped some rats here. And I'm afraid of something like a sunflower that could have been a rat, but you would think a rat might have better stuff to eat, like garbage. There's plenty of that around here too. So I don't know. I'm guessing it was a groundhog that did that. I'm guessing that. But I'll show you what the sunflower would have looked like, because I do have another one that whatever creature didn't bother. It looks like this. Aren't these beautiful? I got these from Vessie's Seeds. I forget what the name is, but I will leave the name because they're very different. They're kind of a purple color, a purple and butter yellow sunflower. These are gorgeous. I love them. Look at that. It's amazing. Okay, more tomatoes next to the sunflowers. These are the Rapunzel ones. So this was the first to start producing this year in the garden. And we tasted it. It's pretty good. The skin is a little thick, which is actually pretty good because we've had a lot of rain this year, so that will help prevent them from splitting. But yeah, they taste like a very classic old-fashioned cherry tomato, and I have a couple to harvest. They go great with basil. Also on the tomato front, this plant is doing really well. I tried Cherokee Purple once years ago, didn't have much luck, but these are Cherokee Purple and it's looking pretty good. And this is a yellow pear tomato, which I'm excited about. My husband really likes the flavor of these. Okay, also in the development of the garden, look at my squash corner. These plants have been very busy this past week. These are my summer squash. They are, going to be producing here very, very soon. I have some zinnias mixed in, so these are about to bloom. The plants themselves are much shorter than I had last year. I had some monster zinnia plants last year. But anyway, we had a wet and cooler summer. I think they like dry, hot summers. That's probably why. Okay, so these are some squash that are trailing along the ground. I want to train them up this. I don't know if I can. We'll see. Another flower I'm so excited about are my dahlias. Look at those. They're so pretty. They're a smaller type of dahlia. Some can get really, really big. But they're so cute. They're such a pretty color. They're a deep red with like a touch of purple color. They're so beautiful. Really gorgeous. I think there was a bee in there. That's why I pulled my hand back. I felt an insect vibrating. I did not get stung, which is good. I'm allergic to them, so. Okay. Dahlias. Lovely. I've got some mint coming up back there. Oh, those zinnias are taller, if you can see in the corner there. Chives. I need to remember to harvest some chives. I actually need them for tomorrow. And then here's my broccoli that I started from seed all the way back in April. They were tiny when I planted them out here. I didn't think anything would happen with them. And they have been growing pretty well. This is a type of broccoli, calabrese, I think it's called, with smaller broccoli heads. So I don't see any forming yet, but the plants are looking good, and they're actually like this really pretty color, really pretty leaves. So this is really pretty. Hyssop. Supposed to make a good tea. So these are just some regular chamomile plants that I believe were already in the garden. I have a different type actually here as well that haven't come up yet. This is a little fall raspberry, and it's actually producing raspberries even though it's tiny and in its first year. So this is how it looks. I think it's quite pretty. It's a very pretty garden this year. yeah, I'm quite happy. Okay, next up I'm going to cut some of these flowers, harvest a few of the herbs, and see what I can do about that sunflower. And I have some twine to kind of try to get things to continue growing the right way. I need to figure out when to harvest garlic. I'm not entirely sure. I'll show you in a second, but some of the stalks look kind of dried out, so I might try to pull one up and see what's happening there with the garlic. So this is the stalk that looks dried out, and I'm wondering if that means it's done. Okay. Don't know what that means. A tiny little head of garlic. So I think that means the garlic needs a little bit more time, although it could be the variety as well, making it extra small, because I planted a couple of different types of garlic and some were very, very small types.